I had one scheduled because I couldn't get it working last night. And that didn't work because, I put that in the comments of the other one. So while I'm waiting for some people to come on now, I'm just going to fix something on my big screen. So coffee talk. I had to laugh. I think my title sounds so grandiose. But you know what? I just thought, fuck it. I'm here to tell the truth. I am not a prophet. I am not special, although we're all special, right? And I just ask. I ask, and sometimes I receive when I pray about things. Sometimes dreams come. And I like to talk about them because sometimes they don't. And I like to see which ones that maybe do come true and I'm on the right track. So, okay, I'm just gonna tweak some things. So how you doing? I'm excited to tell you about my dream. I just want to wait for a few people to find this video because I screwed up. I can't figure out this live thing. I just can't. And I know there's something with my big screen, and I know last time when I tried, like a month and a half ago, and it wasn't successful. When I went in like the next day and fooled around with it, then it worked because I clicked something different. Okay, now I know what to do. So then when I went back, it still doesn't work. So then I was playing around on my phone and I got it scheduled on there. And I just thought that it just comes alive, that I would just click live. I even Googled before I started this. So I'm sorry to keep you waiting. I'm sorry it's so goofy. Let's see now. I'm going to find the live. Here we go. Oh, I can see myself. Now I got to edit this. Let me know when you're here. Okay, hang on. Now I got to change my thumbnail. Come here, you bugger. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, there it is, that little thing. I swear they're making it harder. Keep people like me off here. It's like more challenging. Okay, I'm gonna find my nice picture. There we go. Save. Just taking a second. Okay, and I'm gonna get started in a second. Actually, I'll hop on the one that didn't work out, and I'll let people know that I've started a new one. Okay, so that's good. It's a doozy, so hang in there. Thank you for your patience. I got lots to talk about, and I want to get it done before my husband walks through the door. I locked it, so I'll know when he's coming. So I can be quiet. I'm on a live. Okay, so here we are. Okay, there we go. So there's that weird one. I had the one scheduled for 4, and I'm live now. So I'm just going to there we go. Okay, I'm just fixing the title in the live that didn't work, and then I'm just going to start talking. Started new live. Boop. Save. I guess I could even put the link in there, couldn't I? Mamma mia. How do I get myself into these messes? Oh, sugar. Okay. Okay, so here's my live. I'm going to open that up. So I don't want to dare touch this phone. Oh, there it is. Okay, we're going live. Here we are. Share. Copy. Ah, this is so annoying. Almost there. If I had any shame in my body, I'd be embarrassed, but I'm pretty shameless. I'm just not great with techie. I like to talk and I got heart and a lot of stuff going on, but holy, I need to get me a nice computer friend. Okay, so arg. Okay, here we go. I'm going to put in the link in the description so other people can find it. Link in description. Okay, that's it. Let's go. Hello. So, yes, my grandiose title. Why would God tell me something like that? First of all, yeah, I've talked about lives being annoying, and I'm just gonna jump right to the dream, and then we'll go from there. So it was about like a week and a half ago, because if you follow me on YouTube, then you'll see that in my community page where I post every day. I used to call it like my Facebook or my Twitter. When I would do that, I would be, anyways, I posted something there last week because I just didn't have time to do a video. And I had this prayer. I had a little one 2 nights before, and I won't even, it was about like hugging a stranger on the side of the road that someone I was with had poked. And it was really funny because, I was like, hey, that's not nice. And then I was hugging her saying, that's, we need to be united. And then 2 nights later, I just got into bed and I prayed and I just said, dear Lord, appreciate any kind of dreams or visions or stuff that passes through me. And I'm just would love an answer. Like, how do we stop this digital ID in Canada? What do we do? Like, what do we do to stop this? And I went to sleep, and during the night, I had these busy dreams. They're just going and going and going. And all of a sudden, this big, loud, clear voice cut through. And it said, everyone has to stop working. It was just like that. And I don't know what time that was, if that was 2 or 3, but I remember being cognizant that I have to remember that part of the dream. I can't forget this. And so as I'd wake up and kind of like roll over, and I'd be like, everyone has to stop working. And I didn't even like think about what that meant. I just kept on, because I had to get up and work. So I just kept on dreaming, but remembering. And when I woke up, that was still clear in my head. But the dreams, I couldn't remember any of my dreams. But I think the message, was that an angel? Was that God? Is that just, in psychology, we learned about dreams, there's 4 quadrants. It could just be what I was thinking of. But I'll tell you, that voice that came so sharp through my dreams, the one time I had that happen that came true, and it actually wasn't a good thing, was when my dad died. This is way back, like long before I prayed and became spiritual and baptized. I wasn't even spiritual at the time, but I've always had a lot of stuff going on, right? And I had a dream 2 nights before my dad passed away that I saw my dad's face in a cloud, and I heard the words, "Dad passed away." And my dad was in the hospital at the time, and my mom and I were in Victoria, and we were on our way back to get him on the Monday. We were going to pick him up and bring him home. So it was interesting that then all of a sudden, it wasn't interesting, like he died. Sorry, I'm still a bit rattled from the stupid life thing. So then I picked my mom up at my sister's, and we were driving home. Now, it's 1999, and I had a cell phone. I think it was like a flip, and nobody even knew my number. I only had it because I was a woman living in Vancouver, and I commuted a lot everywhere, and I just wanted to be safe if I broke down. So I started to pick up the phone, and my mom asked why. And I said, oh, we got to call and see if Fred wants to come and meet us to help Dad get out of the wheelchair into the car. And that's when my brother Danny answered. And there was that voice that I'd heard in my dream. Dad passed away. And that's exactly. So I'm going to skip along now. And I think it's interesting because when I posted on YouTube last week about this dream, I just made a quick little thing for my own typing saying, hey, I had this dream last night that I heard this voice cut through my dreams. So we had a few people joining in the conversation saying, yeah, like that is the way to go. And I think it's interesting because the Farmers Protest Canada on Facebook, they've got about 30,000 followers, and they've been doing all the stuff with the ostrich farms and everything. And they, I think they changed their name now to something about Saving Canada, or I can't remember, but they've changed their name. So I don't know if you can still find them under Farmers Protest. And I couldn't find the post, but they made a post about 2 days ago saying, why don't we all look at getting this whole conversation going about a stop work in February. So I was like, wow, that's cool. That really aligns with my dream. And I just thought, yeah, like how can we do that? And it's neat because they've already gotten themselves spread across Canada. I don't think they felt successful with some of their protests, but others they did. And, you know, it's kind of shitty when people are like saying negative things or putting them down, because I don't see those people trying to organize anything. So don't pay attention to idiots like that. But I think that's interesting. I want to touch on the ostriches for a second, because a couple of YouTubers they're not even on YouTube now because they're kicked off, but some freedom movement people I really like. But some of them were sort of like looking down on people who were concerned about the ostrich farm and going there and posting about it and talking about it, because they think there's more critical issues in Canada, like digital ID, right? And all the corruption and there's like a genocide going on, like are people dying with all these free drugs. So I get that. I totally get that. But I also want to say, I think it's not really fair to criticize those people, because my concern wasn't just, oh, the ostriches. Like, it's about something bigger, that they're going to start doing this to our food, right? And now, in wake of the people who started to really push back on the police and on the government, how that whole thing was handled, are reporting now that they're starting to have them come around their farms wanting to go after their chickens, and there's something going on with peacocks. So I think it's opened a door for them to start culling our food sources, because they want us to be dependent on them for our food. I'm going to touch on this while I'm on that. How we're winning is the fake meat. Did you hear about 2 weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, Health Canada was caught. They were going to slip in fake meat into our food supply and not even tell you. They weren't even going to label it, and you wouldn't know. Like, wow. And I was just like so disgusted with a couple of comments I got posting that, oh, well, isn't this about feeding the poor and helping the hungry? And I'm like, fuck that. Like, this is Canada. We should not be, nobody should be going hungry, number one. And the fact that they tried to hide it makes it even worse, right? So I'm happy to say that there was such a pushback that they've backed off. But I don't trust them. I think they'll still try and sneak it in. They were going to in the first place, right? So what's to stop them from sneaking it in? But still, I'm glad Canadians still like their steak and their hamburgers, and they didn't appreciate that too much. Then there was also something about earlier this year, somebody, before a bill goes into motion, they'll recommend it and then they might propose it and then it gets voted on. There was a recommendation that the tax cuts get taken away from churches and other religious organizations. So like they don't pay tax on the land and the buildings and other tax breaks, right? Churches are often a source of helping people in poverty with food, blankets. There's a lot of good things in community. So I was so happy to see an email that my husband got. I'm pointing because the computer's right here. That on one of the emails that we belong to, holding the government accountable, they reported that there was such a pushback on them talking about cutting tax breaks for churches and religious organizations that they had to back off. But they didn't back off in the way we would think. They tried to totally deny it. Like, oh, we didn't do that. Like we, this is Canada. We would never do that. But the evidence is all there. She was even like in Parliament, like recommending it. It's written, but just too many people are looking at their phones for the wrong things. So, the government is definitely paying attention to who's paying attention, how many are paying attention. And I had a little success. I'm just going to jump around again. Somebody that I've been really trying to kind of work on over time, because I think they're smart and they would have some influence if they truly got the gist of what's going on. Well, I showed them Sam Cooper Committee. So I brought up YouTube on their big screen TV, right? And then I typed in Sam Cooper Committee. And I'm not kidding, about 2.5 hour committee session. And it was brilliant. They were just like eyes wide open and agog. At one point, they even looked at me and went, Sam needs to be protected. And I said, fucking rights. Like, he's was with the province, and then he was with Global News. He's testified in committee many, many times. And he wrote the book, Willful Blindness, about all the infiltration of China into our country. And so when he was in committee and they were asking him, oh, so what kind of qualifications do you have? Because he's talking about, well, I work with the law enforcement in the US and Canada, and the US is saying that the Canada law enforcement isn't cooperating, that they're not cooperating. So that was interesting. And he started to talk about the border. So our borders are wide open, right? People are just coming in. And in 2014, when Harper was in government, they had our border, they had like all of these things placed to monitor the border and catch people coming in. And the Liberals took all of that out in 2017. So it was another big wake-up call. So that was good. So yeah, do talk to people about Sam Cooper if you're trying to get someone that's all tense about, oh, I can only watch CTV and CB, good Lord. Show them that, make them watch committee. Boy, they can't really diffuse the truth there, right? That is the truth. You're watching some pretty interesting and all the dirt's coming out, right? When they're testifying. So anyways, one other win I think we're seeing is Iran. They're closing a lot of mosques. People are leaving that religion and turning to Christ. Like, I think, I wish I'd written it down. I want to say 1 million. I think it was about 1 million people have converted to following Jesus from this ideology, that says they're peaceful until you don't agree with them and they want to get rid of you. So I'm going to move on now to what happened? Where is everybody? Is there like one person? Where are we? Just going to see. Says my live's going. Am I still here? One watching. Thank you. I guess it is kind of a weird time, but I didn't want to do it during dinner. And last night I fooled with that live so much that I just got annoyed. And after fighting with it, I was all ready finally to do a live. And then I was just like, I'm so tired. So that's when I scheduled it for today and it didn't go off. So, oops, I think a lot of people will catch the replay, and that's okay. I really appreciate you coming on. And if you are on, please leave a thumbs up. Anyways, what I want to continue talking about is the countries like who are pushing back on digital ID. So one that's not good is Vietnam. Apparently the government just started forcing the digital ID and the people refused, and so they shut the bank accounts. They just closed their accounts, so no one's talking about where the money is. This isn't to do with digital ID, but again, fighting tyranny. Mexico, one of the mayors, a really good mayor, was assassinated by the cartel. And I don't know, Gen Z has just gone wild. It's like they don't believe that the cops and government are doing anything about the cartels, and that they've just grown worse, right? Everything goes really slowly with these oligarchs that are destroying our sovereignty. And so they were just going nuts, like setting things on fire. And yeah. And somebody, it was interesting because somebody was saying to me on Facebook, well, do you think that's okay, like violence? And I said, well, hang on a sec. I said, like, if you look at Northern Ireland, they were opposing, a couple of young girls were, essayed, like bad stuff that people from far away are coming and doing, and no one's stopping it. So the people are rising up, and they went crazy. They were like burning cop cars, setting, I think they set like 27 or 37 migrant hotels on fire, and the cops took a knee with them. The cops bent a knee with the protesters and said, "We stand with you." So I said to that person who was questioning me about my Facebook post, I said, so in Mexico, what do you do if you think that your government and your police are in bed with the cartel? What are you supposed to do? People are fed right up. I don't advocate violence, but we certainly don't advocate rolling over and taking the shit that they think they're going to push on to everybody. So yeah, cops need to take a knee if they're good guys, and they see that the protesters are good patriots who want better for their country. And this whole right wing organization, and all of those nasty name calling, it's just getting so tiring. So my favorite is Italy. Mamma mia, I'm half Italian. But oh, God bless you, Italy, because what they started doing a few weeks ago, it's got to be about a month ago now. And I love this because the news is trying to deny it, but they can't. Like if you Google Italy pushing back against digital currency, you'll get like 2 big long pages. And you'll see the mainstream in there like, that is false. Italy isn't doing digital ID. Well, they are. It's in a lot of these, if you go to, I posted it a while ago. If you go to cbdcs.org, they're keeping track of all the countries, and some of them are just like in the research phase. Some are developing, like some are already like China, like, and the UK, like starting to push it. So Italy, they did something I really like, and I think Canada should do. They're starving the government out. They've been refusing to buy things. They're trading food, they're trading clothes, they're trading household items. So buying only the essentials. And so when I had that dream, and then I saw this Farmer Protest Canada group saying we need to have like the whole month of February, we don't work. And we need to prepare now by telling people, getting that spread, and getting, oh, sorry, I don't know why that stopped there. That's weird. That they're getting, sorry, I got distracted. So it's interesting that yeah, I lost my train of thought. It'll come. I'm not feeling great today either. I kind of woke up feeling a little bit like sore around my eyes. So thanks for bearing with me. Yeah, so we need to spread the word and start stocking. That's what I was saying, right? Stock up, get ready, have some money put aside. That sounds like a really tall order to get like even half of Canada to stop working, but we are at a boiling point. I mean, Europe is boiling. We are reaching boiling pretty quick. Yeah, I know there's still a lot of people asleep, but there's a lot of people whose eyes are opening. And you know why? Because they're going too fast. Like I really believe, and I'm seeing this, like I said that in my description. Do you notice that there's a lot of people saying the dark shadows that rule this world, that control our little puppets, like they're panicking and they're starting to push too fast. And that is awesome because it's waking more people up. More people are going, what the hell? Like the red meat and the tax. Like it all sounds like really satanic, right? It sounds very controlling. There's huge overreach. And people are starting to see that. And I also kind of like, this is probably about a month ago too, but it was on the news that somebody took down 16 cameras in Toronto, surveillance cameras. I think those are just traffic ones, but I'm all in favor of getting rid of anything that's going to be used to control us tyrannically in the future. I also like to say, okay, you can't have digital ID if you don't have electricity, the grid. Catch my drift? So when you think about it, right, we're 2025. When did we even start getting like electricity and heat and running water and all that? Like barely the last 100 years have we had these luxuries that we're all used to now. I think we could all agree that if we have to, we'll survive with fire like everybody else before us did. Don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid of all the material stuff that we won't have anymore, or the comforts and luxuries if it goes this way. Because while I'm excited that people are getting it, and maybe we can do something before all the shit hits the fan by having like a no work February month where we really hit them, like, right? That's to hit them in the pocket. Like, that would absolutely, maybe that's what they want though, too, right? They're trying to crush our country. Maybe we just bring that faster. But I think we need to hit them in the wallet, cut the head off the beast. And it's, not good to be ordering from Amazon and Temu and all those commercial outlets, because it's all over time. They're really crushing the middle class. They're trying to get rid of all that. So that's all we're left with is online and big box stores. I also think though that when I was talking about all the countries, Nepal, and Nepal is quite interesting. If you heard about that one, the government was tyrannical and they were taking away their social media, and Gen Z went nuts, and all the rest of the country joined them. They stormed the parliament buildings, they set them on fire, and they set politicians' homes on fire. And the president resigned, and just before he did, he took out that bill that he was getting rid of their social media. And then they all got on their phones on Discord and voted in a new president. And it's a patriot who's been involved in the government for 40 years that said it's a she, and she would do it for 6 months until they find a new one. So Philippines has turned away, like the people are refusing the digital ID in the Philippines, and they've been hit with over 20 earthquakes, and some people feel like they're being man-made. And I think like a hurricane or something went through there. So do know that if we have an awakening and people resist, prepare, right? Prepare that it's gonna get ugly, because they can bring on warfare. They can bring on anything to terrify people, and they love fear, right? They want to control everyone with fear and confusion. And so I could see them doing that, like making major wars so that our supply chains get cut off. And, that could be a way that they try and take control with the digital ID and currency and bring in fake food. So it's, it could be like a long Cold War, but the fact that people are waking up and that maybe we can do something before it's too late and they've pushed that digital ID. And, we should also think about how would we refuse it? Like, what would you do if it was all coming down and, your work's like, hey, Katie, you got to sign up for this if you want to get paid. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing my iris scan and my fingerprint and giving them all my biometrics. Like, no. So how am I going to work, pay the bills? And I'm still thinking about that. So we should all be thinking about that. But let's just try and send a big message in the first place. What else did I want to tell you? I got through that. Fire. Yeah, we'll go back to fire and be cavemen and cavewomen. And I think that's pretty much it. I just want to say, like, faith over fear and God first. And I want to end on that note. And thank God. Thank you so much. I see that a couple new subscribers came along. Isn't that nice? Thank you if you leave a thumbs up. I'm finding it really weird. I used to get a lot more thumbs up, probably double, and the views that I get now. It hasn't stopped me because I just do this to vent. I feel better. I have regular people in the community that come and chat all the time, and I love them. You're like family to me. You're my freedom family. Thank you. So I know when I had trouble with my last live, I didn't think that it did that well and that there was that many viewers, and I accidentally deleted it. I fucked right up. And I was really surprised at the amount of messages that I was getting on Facebook going, "Where's your live? Where's your live? What happened to your live?" And I was pinged like for 2 days, and I was like, "Wow, that's really nice." Like, we're all busy and sometimes you can't watch something right away. So when I'm talking about God and, I was joking about what a grandiose statement, God spoke to me because I'm so special. I hope I don't mean it like that. Things just with God are pretty incredible. I found that there's a saying in the Bible that draw closer to God and he'll draw closer to you. And that truly is what's happening with me right now. I listen to things. I listen to Grace Oasis. Oh, I love it. They got some great morning prayers. I go to Bible study. My teacher's great because I can just, be me, question things. And I was very spiritual before, and I've just kind of let that go. I mean, you don't need rocks and all these things. Like everything's just right here, that instant connection. God is truly within us. And when I started to find, oh, who's there now? Hi, Brent. Hi. Josh, hello. Thanks for coming on. Took a while. I know the other one was kind of confusing. I'm in a small town and there is a computer store, but they just do Microsoft. But I feel like if I go chat with them, maybe they can give me a hand, or maybe I can find some young punks to give me a hand. Thanks for the thumbs up, eh? Really appreciate that. It gets this out, but this is a message I really want to get out to people because if we can spread this around, just like they did those protests, right, across Canada, some of them were really solid, like in Saskatchewan and Edmonton. Some were weak, but some were strong. And we can just keep building off that and tell 10 like-minded friends, and they tell 10 like-minded friends. And it stretches, right? We can stretch, from your town to town and across. And so talking about God, though, is I've really gotten in the habit of putting God first, and here's why. When you're lying in bed and you're first waking up, do you ever notice like your first feeling can be anxiety, right? Already worrying about the day, already stressing? It's so important to start your day immediately by saying, "Good morning, Lord. Thank you. Thank you for the good sleep." Or if it wasn't a great sleep, "Thank you for the bit of sleep and please help me get through the day." Then I get up, get my house coat on. I have agreement with God. I need my coffee. So I get down, and usually there's a bit left in my carafe. It's a big metal one, so it tastes kind of good. So I pour coffee and I nuke it, or I've got my coffee ready from the night before, and I turn it on, and I get my coffee, and then I go straight to either just sitting down at the table with my coffee, and I leave my phone to the side, and I pray, and I say good morning. Sometimes I get on my knees, just looking out the window. Doesn't really matter. It's just starting my day with God. And I don't have to talk his ear off. Sometimes I'm just saying good morning. Thank you. You're great. Thank you for everything. I'm so grateful for everything you do. Thank you for listening. Thank you for forgiving me when I'm just such a dork sometimes. And only use cash. Yes, totally. Like cash is king. And I wonder about that, Brent. I kind of wonder if I did see a headline a while ago, but I didn't have time to click on it, that they're slowly starting to print, like they're slowly starting to not print as much cash, right? They're going to start taking that option away. So keep it going for sure. Anyways, with God, just put him first. Put him first before you do anything in the morning other than get your coffee and say thank you. Ask him to bless that coffee. Ask God to bless everything that goes in your mouth. Like we're being poisoned when you think, right? Like water and the chemtrails and our food and the stuff they put in our food and trying to fake us out. So it's really important to ask God to bless every meal, everything that you put into your body, even vitamins. Um, even this, right? You're ingesting it. There's a reason that we ask the Lord to bless our food and the things we take in. And so just make sure that you are putting him first, and don't just, go to church once a week or pray once a day. Like to me, it's checking in. It's your higher self. God is in you. So all day long, right? If you're having like a negative thought come in, or you're in a difficult situation, or maybe you don't think you handled one very well, right? Just to, oh Lord, please help me with that, or oh, I think I messed that up. Help me get through that awkward or uncomfortableness. So yeah, so there you go. Now I got people coming on and I'm almost done. That's okay. I'm going to keep chatting. If you're going to stick around, I will too. So just to go back what you missed, I was just going to reiterate it again since we're all here. I had a dream. I often ask a lot about, and I don't get them all the time. So when I do, I pay attention. Last week, I asked God to please give me some kind of dream or vision or clarity on the issue of digital ID. Like, what do we do to stop it? I'm really inspired by what Italy's doing. They've been refusing to buy groceries, like they're trading food, trading clothes, trading household items, and other things, tools, whatever. So there's, minimal shopping happening right now, which hurts the government, kicks them in the wallet. And so I was dreaming that night, and this loud, clear voice cut through my dreams. I was having lots of dreams, those busy ones that just bzzz, roll on through the night. Well, this clear, loud voice came through, and it said, "Everyone needs to stop working." And I hung on to that dream all night, thinking that's really important. I can't forget about this. So I'd like roll over, and look at the clock. Oh, I got to remember what I heard. And the next day I went on to my YouTube community page and said, "Hey guys, like I had these dreams last night, and this voice cut through saying we have to all stop working." And most people agreed, like, yeah, like that's how we need to do it. And we're watching Italy. And then I'm excited that on Facebook, the group that started the farm protests across Canada over the ostriches, and it wasn't just over the ostriches, it's over like the overreach on the farms. But a lot of tractors weren't out there in BC, but I think in Saskatchewan and Edmonton, I think they had some really great success in some of the bigger areas. But they now are talking about, let's organize and have a no work in February 2026. Doesn't, well, obviously you knew that year's coming. But yeah, and so we need to prepare now, right? Like start stocking up, have some money, be prepared. Like this is where faith comes in. This is like faith over fear. This is the most incredible thing we'd ever do. And it sounds like we'd be like totally nuts, right? Remember the 5th of November? Remember the 5th of November. What do you mean, Brent? What do you mean by that? I'm not sure what you mean. So yeah, if we get organized, but you also like have to be prepared. So I'm kind of like doubling up on this live. You'll hear it back in the beginning, but do listen, because I talked about other countries and just what they're doing. And yeah, some are getting kind of violent and some are just using their wits and hitting the government in the wallet. And where's this going to go? I think that we have to really be prepared. I think most of us freedom fighters are. Like, we're prepared to be uncomfortable. And if we have to go back to cooking with fire, well, heating things and cooking with fire, so be it. I would rather live like a cave girl than live in what they want to push, this new agenda, the fourth industrial revolution. Is it industrial? No, it would be technocratic. The fourth revolution. They they want to control us and the future. It just makes me sick when I think about our kids and their kids' kids. There won't be a future. It'd be slavery and all this robots and AI, and to be controlled, everything you do, your iris scans, your prints, your biometrics. And you know darn well that, a big pandemic's going to come, pandemic is going to come, and what they're going to do to people if they say no. And so I think it's worth it, right? We have to get really uncomfortable. We have to realize that, I don't know, like we got to get this really strong, because if not enough people are doing it in February, then people will be like, meh, I can't quit my job because no one else is, and I won't be able to pay my bills. We need to really spread the word. So if you spread this video, if you have your own things that you do on Facebook or Twitter or TikTok or whatever, please get talking. Let's make this a thing. Like, let's make February 2026 Canada. We don't work, that we don't go to work, and we don't buy, we trade things. It sounds crazy because they're trying to crush our economy. So why would we want to do that? But I'm not sure what else we could do. Like, it's kind of our last non-violent resort to just using our wits. And they're still cleaning out all the money out of Canada, stealing it, laundering it. So let's not give them any more. Like, look at it that way, right? That let's not help them with what they're doing. And Bitcoin, right? I'm in the US and things aren't great here either. I know, and I'm glad you see that, because I know people really trusted. There's a lot of people, right? The whole MAGA movement, and they trust him. But what I didn't like was about the second or third day that Trump got back in office, he trotted out all those guys in suits on TV. Do you remember that? And he was totally like all excited about the $500 billion worth of mass surveillance. Who's that for? Is that part of the ICE program? No, that's for America. And as a welcome to the PSYOP, he's one of my regular buddies that's I chat with a lot on YouTube on my channel. And he reminded me that the World Economic Forum did a thing a few years ago on Operation Trust. And he said that wasn't so people would trust the World Economic Forum, it's so that they would trust controlled opposition, the government. Like, there's a huge lack of trust happening. And so I see him doing things that I like sometimes, but then I think of that. I think of, when he called that beautiful, the Epstein list, like, it's just like a carrot. It's just like Lucy saying, I promise not to pull the football away, Charlie Brown. Right? Like, just, and we see this in Canada. It's just the whole terrafor. I'm babbling a bit, but the whole terrafor, like, to me, is fake and gay. Like, it's scripted. It's totally fake. Nobody announces. You don't announce to your enemy what you're gonna do, right? Hey, Friday night, I'm gonna come over at 9 o'clock and punch you in the head. Like, you don't announce your plans to the enemy. And that's all they do, right? Like, well, I'm going to hit you with blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm gonna take this away, and we're and then and then you see and then they kiss and make up, and then he goes and they have a meeting, and then it's all rosy, and just as yeah, they're gonna work things out. and then they have their little tiffs again. And if you just watch, it's just a pattern. It's just a loop over and over and over. And just like watching our politicians that are in power make promises that never align. You never see anything align, but we're so battered with headlines and scandals and things worldwide, goofy things all the time, that our memories are becoming like this big. Nobody can remember like what's happening one week after the next. So I'm sorry things aren't great in the US. Things aren't great anywhere in Western civilization. right? Like Australia, I really worry about them. I know I followed for a while. There's some great Aussies that are trying to be in the freedom movement down there, but they report that they're even dumber than Canada, like that they've got a lot of dummies just like we do. Um, but just, oh, whatever, the government knows best. So that's a shame. Um, right? New Zealand, they got rid of fangs there, just into Arden. But what did I just read recently? Like, they did something good, right? Like, every now and then you watch them, like, oh, they're not going to allow like hormones and things for young kids or puberty blockers. And you think, oh, yeah, they're so based. But then you'd see them do something else that's congruent with New World Order. So again, I really do. I think we have to watch for Operation Trust and these uniparties. And so I moved my phone and now I'm off centered. Hey. And so the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Absolutely. He is so amazing. Even when I didn't pray, like I felt the presence of God. When I was 17, I used to see 444 all the time. And like when I was a teenager and then my young adult years all the time, to the point where when I went to visit my old place of work, like the insurance agency in Nanaimo, my boss said, "Hey, do you still see 444 all the time?" And I'm like, "Yeah, my income tax refund was 444." And Jeff just went in a race with 4,444 contestants, 444. So on and on like that. And, it just continued until just one day Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And I decided to start going to Bible study with someone I really trusted, and he did my baptism. And I'm still not comfortable picking up the Bible. I have a Bible app, and I love that. I know it's a bit of a spoon feeding, but I talk to a lot of people about it. I'm learning what is important to me and then relaying it in conversations, whether I'm on Facebook. So I don't think God will hold that against me. I read the Bible at Bible study. I do it on my app. And I listen to beautiful things. When I'm getting ready in the morning, I put on this Grace Oasis, and I just like his voice, and it's about 15 minutes long. I post it sometimes on my community page, and I post it on Facebook sometimes. I just think it's super important to start your entire first bit of your day with God. Once you do that, you're filled with the Holy Spirit. And man, like, can you handle anything that comes your way? We are trying to sell our house and leave this country. And we had about 16 showings. We had an offer which fell through because the offer on their house fell through. And I'll admit, like, it was like Groundhog's Day, like cleaning over and over, staging, cleaning. They come and they're excited, they really like it, but then we hear that, no. And after a while, that just got really old, and I got kind of tired. The real guy, William. Hi, Genesis 19. God's wisdom in man's world. Oh, yes. Like wisdom comes from God. That's absolutely true. And did you hear? I don't know if you were on here, the real guy Williams, but I was saying, Iran, about 1 million people have left the mosques and are turning to Jesus Christ. Like, there's an incredible awakening happening. And I did a video you might catch a couple months ago, Revelations or the Great Awakening. Since I woke up in 2020, I have felt very deeply in my heart that we're having a great awakening. And then, the more that I started to learn about the Bible and Jesus, and just seeing like the prophecies that churches don't teach right now, like the rapture that he's going to come. Howdy. Hi, Jim. So good to see you. I've missed you. The rapture and Revelations. And so the more that I start to understand that, and I've been, learning about that, but then I've never let go of the idea of a great awakening. I just haven't. And now that I start to see that the elites are pushing, they're going too fast, they're panicking, right? They're trying to, oh shit, we gotta, and that is making more eyes go bing, bing, bing. That's why the picture I used in my still is the guy on the couch, like Canada right now, and it's, on fire and the flames are just there. But, I kind of went, put the eyes there, like they're starting to open. And it's because of us. You know what? Like, we have tirelessly been blah, blah, blah for 5 years now, right? We've lost friends, family, the respect of, our community, colleagues, neighbors, and others. But we've also found each other. We found new friends. I see that happening so much. Like it just makes you like scream with excitement because I even see that with people really close to me who've like trusted in God and let go of like things that weren't good for them anymore, bad jobs, bad relationships, and they're being rewarded. Like you are rewarded when you have faith. Like it's amazing when you have faith and you don't know what the hell's going to happen, but you just say, that's okay. And that's what's happened with Costa Rica, right? We're trying to get out of this country. We didn't sell the house. Did I have some pity parties? Yes, I did. Like, I'd be like, fuck. And just like, I don't want to be here. It's a hellhole. Get me out of here. But I started to mature, especially after being baptized. And I thought, oh, I'm not, I don't feel any different. But after a few weeks later, I was like, actually, I do. I feel there's a maturity, and that is true, right? Like when we say yes to Jesus, when we accept his offer, like he's offering us this unconditional love and everlasting life and forgiveness. And he went through so much. He was the ultimate sacrifice, shedding his blood to cover us so that we can continue to be ourselves. You don't have to change who you are. It's the changing of the heart. It's the changing of the mind. But and I can feel like everybody here knows that. So I don't mean to preach to the choir. But when other people come on and see this later, I just want them to know that my life is charmed. I do. I just feel so blessed that it doesn't mean everything's perfect, but there's this incredible amount of peace. And I thought I had that already. Like I've been working on myself, becoming the best version of myself for years. And I said in another video that, I came into this world quite like a little warrior. Like the picture on my Facebook, I'm like 2 years old, and all the fire pokers and everything. I've left like the house in a way, and like left a big mess in the wake, and I'm kind of coming along in my little pink dress. I was like that. I was quite a tough little brute and spoke my truth and just wouldn't put up with anything. And then, we get into the whole indoctrination, the schools, and, suddenly as I grew up, it's about people liking me and pleasing people. And then as I reached motherhood and started to deal with some triggers, because I had a very loving upbringing, but kind of turbulent and tumultuous at times. And there's some neglect. And so as I was, figuring things out for myself to now be a mother when I was 34 years old, I started doing counseling and going, learning different things about healing. And I just went on a whole journey from there. And then it became more like, oh, I'm not pleasing others, I'm pleasing me. I'm going to do what I want. Until I became, a little bit insufferable, maybe a little bit full of myself. And I was really on a path that was taking me down a field that was very lefty and very narcissistic. And I had my story put in a book, and it was really teeny tiny, and it was just fun. I met great people, made about $3,000. But I was told, you got to keep promoting yourself. Like you have to keep, pictures. And I didn't feel good about it. It felt yucky, but it was kind of like, oh, but that's how people are going to know your brand, like your face. And, I was looking good and getting compliments. But, there is an old saying about the prince or the princess, like, careful that you don't stare at your reflection too long in the pond because you may fall in and drown. And I started to sort of see that. And all of a sudden, like just before COVID, I had an interview with CTV, like a fluff piece. It would have been like 2 days a week covering like little fluff stories. And because of COVID, that never happened. And I had like an inside track. And I was doing great with, I loved background. Like I loved all the people I met working on the Hallmark movies on the island. And what else? Resident Alien, Martha's Vineyard. And I was doing some auditions. And right before I moved here up north, like right before, about a month before, I was, my big sister and her husband, he's passed away now, and his son were coming up to visit before we moved away. And, they'd had some health issues. And so I knew that it was a big thing for them to plan it and come up. And my agent called me and they had a stand-in for me, and it was picked. I was actually headhunted by one of the people, and here comes my husband now. Hi, honey, I'm still doing my live. I'm doing my live. You can come do cartwheels behind me if you want. Do that little dance we were talking about last night. Just kidding. So anyways, oh shoot, now I lost my train of thought. See, that happens, yeah, when I'm tired. So anyways, maybe that's just a good time to end this live. The husband's home and I gotta get making some dinner. And I've been on here for, 56 minutes. So it was really nice to see you guys. Thanks so much for coming on. I'm still trying to think, like, what the heck was I talking about? You can put it in the feed if you want. No, I don't see any more. I kind of backtracked, but it took a while for everyone to get on here. So thank you again. And thanks so much for leaving a thumb. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe. If the government or YouTube is listening, this is just entertainment purposes only. I made it all up. I'm full of crap. I am just lying, and yeah, God bless you too, Jim. Thank you. Yeah, God is good. God is amazing. And yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yeah, life changes, changing my life. And then I got headhunted for the video. See, I remembered now. To stand in for a star, because they don't want to pay them for all the little tiny bits, because they have really tiny budgets. So when they're doing like something from behind or a side view, they'll use someone that looks alike. And that was $1,600 a day, and it was 2 days work. And I turned it down because I knew that my career was over, that I was moving up north and there would be no more of that. And my family's more important to me than money. And I didn't know this at the time, but 2 years later, my brother-in-law passed away. So I'm just really grateful that I had that time with him and his son, who doesn't live near us. And that wouldn't happen. So just, follow your heart, do the right thing. It's just so important not to chase money and comforts and the things of this world, the trappings of this world. I used to think it was a great world. Wow, rose-colored glasses. And now when you look at it, it's just such a matrix. It's all an illusion. And so congratulate yourself. There's nothing we really need to do now. We just need to relax. Like, we're already there. We're already like, the wallpaper's peeled back, right? We can't unsee it. And I just think, let's just have a good time while we can, and be there for others. When they start to see the truth, they're going to be frightened. They're going to be scared. And maybe some of us will even be a little scared, when we don't have our comforts and things seem to be going for a shit. But I always say that I just hope that, I would love just to be sitting back somewhere, just having a puff, like watching it all burn. That sounds kind of mean. I don't mean that like in a nasty way, just in a like looking at the elites way, right? Just to watch the end of their reign. I think it's old families, 13 families, way up in the banking, that have controlled things for a very long time. And it's coming to an end. But, how it's going to happen? Well, rapture, or is the rapture not true and we have to go through tribulation? Or are we having a great awakening? I hope we're having a great awakening. And so, yeah, I'm going to try and do another video on this, because I think we really need to, like to change a habit, right? Like 21 days. So I think too that the more messages we just keep getting out there about February not working, is going to be really interesting. People have been pissed off at Parliament for 420 years. Yeah, and they finally brought it in to dumb us down. They legalized it, right? Like, okay, we got to make them stupid now. But it's okay. I've been stupid for a long time. And I don't think God minds. I think it's a gift from God. I don't really drink much, so to me, that's my glass of wine. I'm not ashamed of it at all. And just everything in moderation, right? Like everything. Shopping, sex. I had to pause on that one. Smoking cigarettes, vaping, drinking. Drugs, I don't think you should really be doing at all, like hard ones, but You know, everything in moderation, even like healthy things, working out, you know, you got to just have a balance to things, right? So, okay, it's been, wow, hey, 59, 1 hour, ding, ding, ding. I love you so much. I'm so appreciative that you're hanging around here. I think you're some of the smartest people, really, I talk to. I've driven off a lot of people that don't like, I don't do big headlines. I don't want to talk about freaking politics because it's a uniparty, like it's all controlled. There's compromise, right? Even people we think that can make a difference, like John Rustad in BC. I just think he's got to, I think something's happened. I don't know. I like him and some of the things he said, but I don't know. I really think that there's dark things that happen so that people don't get into power, or if they're in power, that they don't get to change things for the good for us. I think it's going to be up to us and God. Okay. So, and then also people got kind of mad at me when I realized that I think Trump is just one of them. He's just another puppet. It's all a show. It's scripted. And that's okay. I will never compromise. I'm here to tell the truth. And if people don't like the truth, that's it. Okay. I'm going to go help my husband make dinner. And God bless you. Thanks for being here. And I'll talk to you real soon.